Okay, I'm live. I know Naama and Christiana are just ending off. They're almost finished, so I'll wait for everybody to come hopping across. In the meantime, you can have a look at what I have on my desk. Can I see the comments? Yay, yes! Terry's here, Katerina's here. Okay, so I can see 6 people. It's taking a little while. Moika's here. Papermade Social, hello. Kim, hello. Patricia, hello. So we hop in across. That's awesome. Nice to see you here. Right, I'm going to just pop my keyboard down next to me. Hi, Dawid. I'm Muriel. No, Mariel. Aleksandra. Aleksandra is after me. So let me just double check that. I'm happily saying that, but no, I'm on the wrong thing. Anyway, the link is in the description box below, and I have it ready to copy and paste. Hello, Gabby. We made it. Yes. Gabby was saying that's iBag, was saying in the previous stream, because for some reason, Christiana's stream is always a little bit pixelized. We don't know why. And I must say that I was quite surprised when we came to Germany from deepest, darkest Africa, where we had fiber in Africa. And we don't have fiber here in Berlin. Well, I don't. We have normal. And it drops us quite often. So that's why I go into StreamYard, because at least with StreamYard, if I get dropped, I'm just going to switch my light on, which I see I haven't done. There we go. That should be better. At least with StreamYard, if I disappear, you guys can hang out here and I should reappear. Okay, so Aleksandra, don't worry. I wasn't prepared much either. So I've actually got 2 things on my desk because I kind of now think that I have found too much stuff that's already done. So I raided my own stash of stuff. And if you've been watching the Facebook Lives on Stamperia, you'll know that all of these nice, delicious, grungy gears come from the preparation I did in my previous live. And these pipes as well, so they're ready to go. Then I have another stash of, these are not chipboard, so these are gray chipboard, and these are the wooden laser cuts. And for some reason my light is flickering. Why is it doing that? Let's just turn it down a notch. Maybe that will behave. Okay. And so these are the wooden laser cuts. And a while ago I was playing around with my Stamperia rust effect. And what this is, it weighs a ton. This is iron, I'm going to call them iron filings for want of a better description. It is what I remember from science days. So it's literally iron, like very, very fine powder iron, and this is the activator. And no, do not ever blow dry this. So do not try and speed up this process. So what I did is I mixed some of the iron filings with some glossy gel, and I spread it out on a craft sheet, one of those non-stick craft sheets, those brown ones. And then once I'd spread it out, I learned this from Olga, by the way, I then put this activator on it, and I created what she calls rust skins. So in this jar, I have some real rust made from the mix of the glossy gel and the rust effect. So this takes a long time to set and cure and process. I'm not even going to show you how I did it here. I've explained that process. So I've got these in a jar all ready to use. And while I was doing that, I also applied some of the same stuff to these wooden laser cut gears. So these are thick laser cut gears. And so I've got 3 of these left from a project that I didn't use them on. So I've got those ready to go for today. Then also from previous times, and this is when I started with Stamperia, I did a lot of experimenting. So you get these, and I'm just going to grab the closest one, which of course now I can't reach. you get these glamour pigments, and this is the pink one that I have put in here. So this is normal white resin that I put in my molds, and then I added glamour pigment to the resin while I was mixing it and poured it in my molds. And here you can see the pink, the brown, the silver, and the yellow. And I also used the yellow for my wings. And then what I've done with these wings is I have added some of Antoni's paste, the antiquing paste, to this. Now that is oil based and it takes quite a while to dry. So what I like to do is prepare things and then just put them on one side so that when I need them, they are ready to roll. And these are quite they're not, it's not rubbing off at all on my hand. So I like to have a whole lot of stuff that I can just reach for. So sometimes when I'm not feeling particularly creative, but I feel like doing something, I will sit and do this kind of thing. I will pour molds, I will put the paste on, I will rust stuff, I will take my gray board and paint it and pop it out and sit with a pokey tool and poke out all these little tiny holes. And somehow that's kind of therapeutic, and I feel good afterwards, even though I haven't made anything. So I've got nothing to show for it, nothing to photograph, nothing to put on the internet, but I've been creative at my desk. And it pays off on days like today, because Christiana and I were chatting yesterday and she was saying, I don't know what I'm going to do for tomorrow. And I was going, I don't know either, but that's tomorrow's problem. That's how I roll. Because I know I've got stuff. I just have to shop my stash. And so I have shopped my stash, and this is what I've come up with. So we're using today as the Valentine's theme. If you've been in the previous live, you'll know that they didn't do a very traditional Valentine's theme, but I have found a set of stamps that I bought from Stamperia. I got them at Stempel Bar. I got them at the Stempel Bar. There we go. And I just love the set. It's love in many languages. So it's English, I love you so much, ich liebe dich, which is appropriate now that I live in Germany, je t'aime, te quiero, I'm assuming, and ti amo. I don't know what language that is. I think that is Italian. And then they've got all these different things written in here, lots of different sayings. So I'm going to use that on my card later if I have time. And this, I will show you how I did this later. I used the Je t'aime and some embossing powder. So that's kind of what I have on my desk. And that's what that is for. And let's put that out of the way so that I have more space. But what I'm going to be doing today is I am going to be working on a little tiny canvas. I bought some of these from it was either Teddy or the Euro Shop, which is like the dollar store. Quick reminder. Oh, thanks, Nuneka. Yes, I am doing a workshop. It's my second online workshop. And yes, Nuneka has booked in. Thank you so much. So nice. Basically, the workshop I'm doing is with, it's called Art Workshops. You will find it on my Facebook page. I have shared it onto my Facebook page, and you're paying £15 just for the class. There's no kit. There's nothing you need to buy for this class, because I'm going to teach you how to use the stash you have in your creative space, whatever space that might be. I'm going to teach you how to combine your papers that you have, your stencils and your stamps to make, it could be on a canvas, could be in an art journal page, could be on any surface you like, because the rules apply across the board. So I'll be teaching you a little bit of my basic knowledge, or it's basic skills that apply for everything, and how to make your stash work for you, because you don't have to have the latest, greatest, newest stash that has just arrived to make a fabulous project. And so case in point, this stencil, which is a Stamperia stencil, came out, I don't know when. It's not brand new, that's for sure. These wings came out ages ago. So you don't have to have the latest, greatest stuff. You have awesome stuff in your stash. And so that's basically what I'm going to be concentrating on in that class. And so thanks for that reminder, Nunu. Then the other thing I'm involved in, which is going live now as we speak. So I put mine up a little bit earlier, and you'll notice I'm very into this size canvas because I have been invited to participate in the LGBT creative awareness campaign that is being run by Bets. And so we're doing a Love Wins hop over on Instagram. So if you find me on Instagram and you look for this canvas, and then if you swipe, you will see that it's part of this not YouTube. I'm so used to being on a YouTube hop. It's my very first Instagram hop. So we're doing this Instagram hop, and the theme is Love Wins. And so, of course, I've got my rainbow cake because I love cake. Can't eat it anymore. It doesn't love me. But this was something, when I saw the stamp, I needed to have it because I knew in my head when I saw the stamp that I wanted to make a rainbow cake. So I'm very into this size canvas. It's a really nice size canvas to work on and very quick and easy. I know this is the only cake I can have now is paper cake. I paid the price on Wednesday. My husband, every second week, he does baking online as team building with his staff in the evening on every second Wednesday, and they made the most delicious vanilla cake, and I had some, and I was up half the night. It was most unpleasant. I get cramp now if I have sugar as well, so as well as the added things, because I'm insulin resistant, for those of you who don't know. So we're going to start with making, I'm going to stencil this straight onto my canvas, and this canvas is this color. It is it's got clear, it's pre-cleared, primed on this lovely color. Oh, there's some Lady Vagabond binoculars. I wonder what they're doing there. So I am going to be working straight onto here, but what I need to do is I need to create for myself some texture. I don't want to just paint like I would normally do with my Allegra paints. And being me, those of you who've watched me before know that I will be using for the rust effect the Allegra paints, which dry matte, and I'm going to be using Matone, Terra d'Ombra, and Arancione. Dear Omar told me how to pronounce that one the other day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of my glossy gel, and because I want it nice and thick. Terry, it is, if you go to my Facebook page, you will see that there is a thing that says you can pay here. You pay via PayPal, I think. I'm not in charge of that because I'm the guest teacher on art workshops. I think I've put far too much gel out here for the amount of stuff that I have there. So while I'm chatting, I'm being distracted. So I'm just going to put some back because I want some of each color. So yes, I did send the link to Nuneka, so Nuneka will be able to send it on to you, Terry. Right, and now I'm going to add, these are just what Stamperia calls, not moonstones, these are moon granules, I think. It's like a powder. I've just put it in a smaller jar so it's easier to manage and it fits on my printer's tray in front of me. So I want them in here for added texture. And then I'm going to add some paint. Thanks, Nuneka. Nuneka's texting Terry. So as we speak, I was saying to Nuneka, we should have secretaries, and Nuneka is being Terry secretary, right? I'm going to mix some paint in there. Stand that one on its head because that one's nearly finished. Ah, found it. She found it. Yay! And I'm going to get some of the dark one on there. And stand that one on its head. And then we never need as much orange, but I might as well just mix some. It won't go to waste, I promise. I will use it on something afterwards. Oh, thanks, Aline. Really appreciate your support. So what I'm doing is I am mixing, and the reason that I use the glossy gel is I want a little bit of dimension because these paints dry flat and matte. So yes, I am mixing a gloss with a matte, and in theory, this is my world in theory, the matte should override the gloss in this case. And now I need some roller towel. Miguel is Nunes' secretary. We won't tell him. And now I'm going to mix this one. I always tell my students work from light to dark, and now I'm jumping around. So I'm in the dark paint, but it's fine. It's not a brush. I always tell my students when you're working with paintbrushes, always work from light to dark because you never manage to wash them properly. And so if you start with a lighter color, you're guaranteed of having a nice fresh color. But if you start with a darker color and don't wash your brush properly, well, you're guaranteed to have mud. So now I've got those three prepared. I'm going to just clean this. I hope Miguel's not listening, Nunu. Right, so now I'm going to masking tape off the bit that I don't want, because there's a piece that comes down from the heart there, and this is just low tack tape that I got at an art shop, and I'm just going to masking tape that off because I don't want any of this going in there. And my usual story, I'm going to grab, oh, I didn't mix that very well. Let's give that a bit more of a mix. Too much of the gel still showing. And I'm going to just grab a generous amount, and I'm going to randomly pop it on my stencil. And if you don't press too hard, the idea is that it will not ooze underneath. If it oozes, and at this stage I have no idea what it's doing, so I hope it's behaving. I'm just going to now start mixing the colors and blending them on here by grabbing more of this concoction with my spatula. And let's just see, I'm trying not to spread it too hard so that it doesn't ooze underneath the stencil, and it would seem that I have already messed over there, but that's fine. This is a rusty canvas, so it will hopefully all even out in the grand scheme of things. And let's just see how we're doing. I'm competing with Tim right now. Oh, is Tim live? I thought he was going on at 7 o'clock our time. Sorry, it's no competition. I don't mind if you go across to Tim. It is what it is. I will go and find him after my live and watch him. Actually, no, I think I'll watch him tomorrow because Aleksandra's after me, and so I will go and watch Aleksandra because I was a good girl today and I made my dinner ahead of time. Now I'm going to grab just a little bit of this orange and put it in here and there. So I especially brought my slow cooker all the way from South Africa, and I have hardly used it. But I decided to do a stew because it's real stew weather here in Europe. It is. It was -1 when I was outside, and tonight I think it's going down to -13. And as a Cape Townian South Africans, if any of my South African friends are in the chat, they will have no idea what I'm talking about. Yes, Francis, you will have no idea because they're busy dying of the summer heat. I always think it's so crazy. If we had to just divide the two, it would be marvelous. Right, so now I have this glorious mess. Looks like a mess. Hopefully it's not a mess. And let's check it out. If it is a mess, I will make another plan. We will just go completely rusty. But no, it's perfect. Except for, oh, I completely missed a bit over there. Oh well. We will cover that gear, and that's the bit that I knew I had blobbed underneath by mistake, but oh, okay, so what can I do with this now? I'm going to grab, so I've got a whole lot of this paste, which is on this thin stencil. It weighs a ton. I'm looking for my art journal, which is not here. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, seeing as I'm going to be making a card, but I was going to do something else. Okay. Let's just grab some spare paper. Because waste not, want not. This is local paper. It says aquarelle paper. And I'm just going to, it's really nice and thick. I buy it at Action. And what I'm going to do is clean my stencil off by... no, I can see that that's not going to work because, oh well, we will just clean the stencil off by scraping the excess, and I'm off camera. How unusual. Getting so excited about what I'm doing. And how much time have I got? Oh, I've used 20 minutes already. Okay, so let's just scrape that off, see what I get. If I get a complete oopsie mess, it's not the end of the world. Because I hate wasting, so I'm just going to pop this. I have a tray of water next to me, and I'm just going to pop it straight in the tray of water so that it doesn't dry while I prattle on. I'll just put that on one side to dry, and put this on one side, clean my palette knife like a good girl. Running out of surfaces. How about the floor? Okay, so while this dries, because there's a lot of stuff on there, I'm going to start on my, yes, that stuff is thick, and it's also because I had these little granules in there, Penny. It sounds like sand when you're scraping it. I don't know what the stuff is. It isn't sand, but it sounds like sand. So what I'm going to do here, I decided when I started playing around with this that I was going to do a fun technique on here for the cards that's going to go with my little canvas. And so I have decided that I'm going to, and I'm going to open it, but it's already open, clever me. Rip it off its plastic backing. These are so sticky, these ones. And pop it on a grid. Microbeads, thank you. They're not exactly microbeads. Microbeads are glass. My understanding, glass or plastic. These are like, if you can actually crush them, and it gives you a powder. As you can see, this is a brand spanking, unused, never before covered in ink stamp. So you meant the aquarelle paper. What are you asking? Oh, you can tell by the sound of the paper that it's thick. Okay, I thought you were talking about my concoction that I made, because that was thick. So giving this a good old ink up. And I'm gonna have to, this is a big stamp, so as Tim Holt says, You don't need to do CPR, but I will be doing CPR for this one. Because it's huge and I'm not using my stamp platform. So I'm going to pop that on one side and I'm going to sort of center this over here. And I chose this color cardboard because it goes nicely with my canvas. You know, everything's got to match. I'm a matchy-matchy kind of girl. And I'm now doing CPR. 1 and 2 and 3. If you've ever done life-saving courses, the tag near me. What tag? That. Can't see any tag. Okay, I think. Ta-da! Perfect! Yay! Now I just need my rag to clean it. So I don't wash my stamps. I just clean the excess ink off so they don't mess my hands and everything else. Yes, don't die on me stamp. 1 and 2 and breathe. It was a long time ago that I did that CPR course when my son was still a baby and would sleep anywhere. Right, so let's get a piece of that. I have still quite a bit of time, so I'm going to get this artist paper out again. Somewhere actually I have offcuts. So I'm going to be snip and grab my offcuts. Because waste not, want not. I have a lovely offcut of exactly the same really thick cardboard. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this out of the way because I'm guaranteed to mess that. And I'm going to move that out of the way. I'm going to recreate that. And what this, it was a nice, clear, beautiful white ink pad. It's the Stamperia transparent ink pad. And what I'm going to do is just mush it onto my scrap piece of paper over there. And then I'm going to use some embossing powder. This is the glaze. So if you can't beat him, join him. Seeing as he is live. And heat it up. So I'm going to build layers of this embossing powder to stamp into. And it's quite fun to do. You need, if you've got ultra thick embossing powder, that also works beautifully. But I'm going to just build up the layers. So I don't know if you can see in the shine of the light. For once, the shine of the light is advantageous. That it is melting, and basically embossing powder is just pure plastic. And let's see if this will stick this time around. Yeah. So I'm just being lazy. I don't feel like doing lots of. Okay, I'm just gonna. So basically it's ground up plastic granules is what embossing powder is. I always thought it was a wax, but it's plastic. And because I got so much on there, it's going to take a little while to heat up and melt. Hey, Oriana. Nice to have you here. Jess is in the house. I didn't see Jess. Oh, Match of Crafts. There you are. Hello, Jess. Okay, so what is actually happening, because now I have heated this middle bit so much, is I'm going to have to let that cool a little bit, is where that is, it's absorbing into the paper. So I'm just trying to cool it down. Cool it down. Make sound effects. Okay, so I will pounce my stamp pad back on there. Yes, it looks delicious. Like I want to eat it. Have we not had supper, you and me, Naneka? I think we should have dessert first, because I was showing you cake earlier, and then we both wanted cake, and now it looks like caramel. And here we go. Oh, cat hair. Let's remove the cat hair. And heat it again. And then what I'm going to do, I don't think that I love you is going to fit. I'm going to have to do the je t'aime again. So if I thought about it, I would have actually grabbed a bigger piece of paper or worked my embossing potted patch a little bit bigger. Okay, and while that is melted over there, I'm going to just grab some more on it. Because I'm trying to build up the layers. The roller dabber, yes, I have got, actually I could extend it a bit, you're quite right. I have got that dabber. Yes, no project complete without cat or dog hair. You're quite right. When I last was able to travel and I was going to my cousin's wedding on the other side of the country, I didn't realize that my black jersey was still absolutely covered in my cat hair. And the woman was like, "Have you got a cat or dog?" I think she asked if I had a dog. I was like, "No, I have a cat." So I'm just building up these layers. It's rather boring to watch it melt. Ow, my fingers. Get my hands out the way. Oh, you like the process. Okay, yes. So I'm just building. So at the beginning, when I used to do this, I used to use my stamp pad each time. But then I discovered if you are fast enough while the plastic is still melted, you can add another layer. And with this particular colored one, it is a transparent colored embossing powder. But if you have it nice and hot, so now I've got enough everywhere. I'm going to do one last layer quickly while it's hot. Just leave it there like that for now. Then I'm going to ink my stamp, so that what I'm going to do, so what I achieved here is I inked my stamp, and while it was still hot and runny, I impressed it in. And then because it's me and I do the what if, I then heated it to see if it would melt again, which it did. So the ink melted into the embossing powder, which was quite fun. But now let's just see. I don't think that the I love you is going to fit on that side. No, it's not. I'm going to have to do the, let's do Ich liebe dich, seeing as we are in Germany. Let's do that. Why not? Let's go with the appropriate one. Yes, Penny. I think I need one of those hairless cats next round. Be less to clean up as well. Okay, so now I'm using a permanent jet black ink. At least when when I shed, look, half my hair is pink, the other half is brown. So it doesn't look too bad because only half the pink hair I know is mine. I blame everybody else for shedding when I'm cleaning. Right, so let's do one last heat session. And so now it is, I've lost count. If anybody was counting, I think it's at least 4, maybe 5 layers that I've got going here. And you can do this with any embossing powder. I've just chosen to use this nice caramel color because it goes with my color scheme of the canvas that I'm doing. So where it's really thick, it's now going quite, oh, it even looks like caramel as I'm heating this layer now too. I was actually thinking I should break out my melt pot. I have the melt pot from Ranger from 100 years ago, you know, those of us who've been crafting that long. Jess says I'm on my 4th. Penny says I'm on my 5th. Okay, it's somewhere around there. It's a lot of layers, people. It's a lot of layers. So I'm just trying to keep that layer warm over there while I melt this bit. And you can see it's almost done. It's like liquid glass. It's like liquid caramel. Okay, we are done. So I'm just going to hold that in my hand, try and multitask while I get my embossing powder out the way. Because this is where you got to be relatively fast. See, when you put this down on your mat, it starts to harden straight away. And then you pop your inked stamp into this delicious caramel, because now I'm hungry. Ah, yes, Priscilla, we all have those lovely things. There we go. Ich liebe dich. And it is set into the, it's gone into the I want to say wax, but it's not wax. I've just been telling you that it is not wax. It is indeed plastic. And I'm just pouring this all back in like a good girl. Yum. Okay. So this one, I think I only put 3, maybe 4 thin layers on, whereas this one is exactly the same color, and I put a lot more layers on, and I was holding it at an angle, so it poured to one side over there. And so now I have my sentiment on it. And if I wanted to, so the ink is sitting on top, and that's what I did with this one, is I actually reheated it a little bit and melted the ink into the plastic so that it went into it. Right, so now that I've done that, I'm going to tear it. Now, when you tear paper, this is just a quick FYI for your information. When you tear paper, and so I'm right-handed, so I hold it with my left hand and I pull towards me, the rough edge is always going to be on the left-hand side. Okay, so I want the rough edge for this because you see this nice dark bit on the outside? That is where the raw paper, all the little paper fibers were loose and raw. So I am intentionally holding it with my left hand and then pulling it with my right hand so that I get that raw edge. You will discover when you start tearing paper, this is something, if you've ever torn up a document, you'll always notice that one direction will always tear much easier and straighter than the other direction. That's because when paper is made, the fibers land up lining up in one direction, and that's not the band or anything along those lines. And when you are tearing something and it is more difficult, you are then going across those fibers. You're trying to tear across the direction of the fibers. And that's what makes it so difficult. So now I need to clean up all this powder that is now everywhere on my desk because, of course, I was heat gunning. Look at it all. It's like delicious little tiny caramel granules. Pop that in the bin. And now you take your ink and I am using vintage photo. And of course it's set. It's well and truly set. And I'm now going to build up my edges. And you can see where it's really dark, that is where the raw paper is. Yes, quite right, Mineka. When you are cutting meat and you are carving, there is a grain as well. But it's just something, it's one of those things that I think us crafters use paper and things so much that you don't always realize the why. I did some paper making in South Africa, and I also I've had the most amazing experience at a paper mill, one of South Africa's biggest paper mills, getting a tour of the paper mill. And then what also happens is where you have the little speckles that have melted, they add an extra texture. Whoops. Oh, and you can also crack it, apparently. But I'll remelt that and glue itself back together. That's another thing that I have done before. I've intentionally cracked it when it's so thick, and I have pushed color inside there. So there are 1,000,001 ways to use this. So that's how I achieved that look. And this does not look any drier. So we're now going to heat gun. I'm sorry, you're going to have to watch paint dry, because now I have 20 minutes left. Yes. Marita's saying that paper breaks more easily in one direction when you bend it, and one way is better than the other. And that is, again, because of these fibers. What is Aleksandra saying? Yes, Nunu, go and eat something. But the problem is Nunu is the chef. So unless she can take us to the kitchen, you can impress absolutely anything into it. So I did notice that my stamp that I chose, Cindy, where the heart was, it is far less deep than the lettering. So the lettering impressed a lot better than the, and my craft mat is bubbling up. Okay, so this is now dry enough for me not to mess. Let me just flatten my craft sheet. Shoot, you late. Hello, Olga. You're not late unless you're late for your own live, which isn't till I think 9 o'clock. So you have time, girl. You have time. Breathe, breathe. Right. So now we have the stencil on there. I am going to put my wings on, and I need to get my glue gun out. So excuse me a second while I just reach behind me for my glue gun. And I don't normally use a glue gun for this if I am just working on my own, all by myself at my desk. I am only using a glue gun now because I want this to stick while I am working. And my plot is as follows. So I'm going to have these wings up here, and I'm going to have the mechanical heart over there, and I'm going to have, I think, this gear up there. And I said to you, I'm going to hide that. So I'm going to have a gear there. And I always like 3s. So maybe we'll have the mechanical gear over there. Maybe I will add it on there. There's lots of maybes going on because you know how much planning goes into before these things. Oh no, YouTube doesn't remind you about anything. And then this is a chipboard from the Lady Vagabond die cuts. So it saved me, and it's nice and thick, so I can actually hang it off the heart as well. I think that's how I'm going to roll. So my heart is going to have a halo, a rusty halo. And this that I made is going to go on my card. That's going to go with my little canvas. And I am just waiting for my glue gun to warm up. So, but while my glue gun is warming up, what I'm going to do is, this detail is not showing up enough. So I'm going to use my, and I've discovered I've been saying it wrong all the time. I've been saying Sarantica because in English, when you have an E after a C, it becomes an S sound. But apparently in Italian, it makes it a ch. So it's Charantica. I learned that the other day. As I said, dear Omar is teaching me as I go how to pronounce these gorgeous Italian things. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to clip the surface of these things to make them stand out a bit more. I did put the brown mica powder in pigment powder in my resin, which is how this is brown. If you've just come in and you're wondering how I have a brown heart that is all the way through, this is how I did it. And so now I'm just going to pick up the details of the clock without, I don't want it there. I'll have to get an earbud. There we go. Almost done. So now I like that detail coming up there. Now I need to clean my gold finger. Like 007. Somewhere I have an earbud. Not one that I've used in my ear. I promise that got splattered with overspray. So I promise I haven't got some deadly disease. I just have diseased looking earbuds. There we go. So now you can see that gorgeous detail. Oh yes, please leave a thumbs up. I always forget to ask that. And so I need to make sure that these are in the middle, like so. And then I'm going to have my heart like so. I think I can have them sticking out a little bit more. Right. Okay, so another little trick is if you pop a little bit of glue on your next glue stick and then stick it in there. No, don't glue it to yourself, you silly thing. It glues it to the next stick. And then it should just follow through. But of course, mine's gone skew, so it's going to cause untold problems. But I've got really long glue sticks. So I'm going to combine my glossy gel with my glue gun just so that it will behave itself. Come on, go in. Behave, go through. You can see why I need extra long sticks. And then I always just pull it back slightly so it doesn't drip out. I need extra long sticks because I use half a stick just trying to get. Let's just check that that's going to be where I want it. Get them even. Yep, that looks about right. Perfect. Okay. Right, got a little bit of ooze there, but that's not a problem because we're going to have, I'm going to put the glue there anyway for the heart. And then I'm going to give, again, some generous glue blob there and a generous glue blob there. Get the spider webs away. What's a long story? What did I miss? Right. No, that's not holding. No! Missing! Missing! It still worked though, Cindy. Okay, so I'm gonna again give a generous blob of that together with a blob of that because that's going to be underneath the heart inside there. And oh, look at that, it messed nicely. Now I need, I will just grab, I'll just use this because I don't feel like washing the brush. I don't have water on my desk. That's perfect. How much time have I got? 50 minutes. I've got 10 minutes. 50 minutes. She wishes. Right, we have some gel and we have a blob of glue. And that's going to hide that mess over there. Also stick out the edge. And I think I'll have this one sticking out the edge over there because I like, it's got to be balanced. Seeing as Olga's in the house, we have 3. Look, we have 3 of the same. I know we have other ones from the stencil, but don't count those. See, that's not allowed. And so I will have that one over there. And then I'm going to have my lock. I think I'll do it at an angle like that, which means that you'll be able to see the back a bit. So I'm just going to brown that up. Put that like that. So we need a little bit of gel and we need a little bit of glue. And that will sit like that. A nice little jaunty angle. Perfect. So as I said to you all earlier, I made these little skins. So let's dump those out there and have my rust skins at the ready. And let's see where I can tuck these. We have some genuine rust going over here. And I think I'm going to have some there. And we'll grab a smaller piece. And which way do I want this one? Maybe we'll have some coming out behind there. What other small pieces have we got? Oh, we've got some. Let's have it going this way. That one's nice and dimensional. I don't want to lose the word. Yeah, that works. So now I've got some rust crawling along there. We'll have, let's use some more of these little rusty guys coming out from underneath that there. Okay, I can't keep. Cindy and Olga are having a chat. Right, I'm going to pop some glue on there and stick it under there. I'm going to just use the And then I'm going to use hot glue on that bit there because I want to squish it down, make it behave. Ouch. It's hot, people. It's hot. Okay, so in that case, I'm going to use some gel over there and some, oops, hot glue over there. And poke it under there. Stretch it out. Somewhere under there was some glue. And then these I'm going to use that way. And poke it. Underneath there. And trail it up a bit. Yep, that will work. So we have some genuine rust. Okay, so Penny, I have no idea what anybody's talking about. Olga's talking about butt checks. So now I have some real rust and things going on in there. And now I'm going to pop that on one side. I'm going to grab my tray of delicious goodies because I think I want to link up this gold and have a few more layers going on. So I have some teeny tiny little gears that can perhaps layer up in places. Oh, there's a teeny, even tinier one. Maybe we'll even put it on there. Oh, I like that. Okay, so right, what is the time? Time. I'm going to put the link for Aleksandra is next. Control B, enter. Okay, so I've put the link. It is below, but there's that. And then here I've got my card that's going to go with that. And I have a little heart that matches that. And I've got the Ich liebe dich. So I think I'm going to put it like that. And we could do with some gears. Let's just raid my stash of gears from Thursday last week at Stamperia and build some layers, because that's what everything always works better with layers. More layers, the better. And let's have a scratch. I don't need pipes for this, so we'll take the pipes out of the equation. Oh, there's a nice big fat one. So I don't really want to cover the word love over there, but maybe because I've got a heart, let's put that one there like that. Ich liebe dich. And see if that one fits on top of that one. That also works. Right. I'm pretty much done. Let's close that glue on that side. So that is my Valentines. What I do need to do is ink this edge before I glue everything together. So because everything looks better with ink. And we are almost out of time. We have 1 minute left, so I just want to ink this frantically before I put it all back together again quickly, and you head on over to Aleksandra. Thanks for watching. I hope my husband wasn't watching, because this is what he's getting tomorrow. So there we go. I will, of course, glue all of this just now. There we go. Ta-da! Done. And let's remember to unplug my glue gun while I'm watching it ooze all over my table. So there we have it, people. My rusty Valentines. Mechanical heart. Turn up the love. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you over at Aleksandra. Bye.